And blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning, promoting our schools, securing our future here at Vision Charter School. I'm back in the studio. The folks at Vision are there, ready to go. Rob McDougall joining us now, high school and math teacher, athletic director, coaches volleyball, basketball, softball coach. Boy, Mr. McDougall, you are a man of many skills.
Well, we try and kind of cover everything over here, so.
Right, very good answer. Let's talk a little bit about being the athletic director. What's that like? Most of us say, well, high school athletic director, school athletic director. How tough is your job?
Well, it doesn't stop. We're here, most time we're here early in the morning and we don't go home. We're the last person to leave at night, so a lot of times I don't get home till 10:30 at night, especially game nights. And so, but, we're basically always on call, so.
Well, when we take a look at being on call, obviously now you teach math, you teach volleyball, basketball, softball. Coach, do you have any time for you?
Not a lot right now, but both my kids are here at the school, and so it's a way that I can connect with them and connect with the students, and so we're always around them. My wife comes to all the games, and so it's kind of a family endeavor to be here and to just enjoy sports and to kind of share that love with our students and our community.
Well, we sure do appreciate that. Why is education so important to you, sir?
Education is the one thing that nobody can take away from you. Once you have it, it's yours, and it's the number one way to better yourself. You should never be stop learning. And, it's just a way for our kids to just show themselves and be able to exemplify what they know and kind of stretch out.
Right, indeed. Of course, when we think about stretching out, Rob McDougall with us, Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio, promoting our schools, securing our future. What do you think the solution is to reach kids these days? We're always wondering, the millennials are like the old people now, but we've got this post-millennial generation. Is it being more technically savvy, and how does that work? How does that work in math, sir?
So, yeah, it is being, having technology, but I think it's just kind of trying to connect with them at their level. So you meet them where they're at, and then they'll kind of come with you. In math, we have a lot of technology. We have just different graphing programs and different ways that we can introduce that technology through computers. We have, all of our classes here have computers in them, so we can get on computers and utilize that technology there. But to connect with them, you just have to meet them at their level and let them know that you care about them and that you're there for them.
I imagine that's easier said than done, Mr. McDougall. What about when we take a look at athletics? Are more people still as involved in sports as they were when you were a kid?
The level's really high still. Athletics is, you tend to get fanatics and people that want it. When I look at athletics, I want to see that athleticism. I want to see athletics develop the person as a whole. So that team spirit, that bonding. And not just as an individual, but to extend out to the community. How can I make this person more rounded and a better person for our community? Not just athletically, not just to win or lose games, but how can they develop that team spirit and understand that it extends from here out to our community?
Boy, as a kid, those are the best of times. I'm sure you can relate to that. A final thought on why you love Vision Charter, why you have your kids there, sir?
Well, they just provide a great opportunity. My son's a senior, and he's going to end up getting his AA. He's been able to play sports, multiple sports, not just for this school. This is our first year in athletics, but the support he's gotten and my daughter, they're here to support kids, and they're here to just make sure that they succeed and have the best advantage coming out of high school to succeed in life and to go on to college or technical school. And so I love the fact that we give kids that opportunity.
Well, Mr. McDougall, we sure appreciate you waking up, but I'm sure you have long days, and we appreciate waking up so early. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go to KIDO Talk Radio's Rachel Sutherland, Fox News Radio, exclusively in the Treasure Valley on KIDO Talk Radio. And Rachel, big news in the House yesterday. We had our friend Mr. Hannity talking about it on our show and then on the Fox News channel. And who knows what's next with this motion that was so debated yesterday.
It really was. There was a lot of controversy over this resolution that ultimately passed, but a lot of Republicans are calling this just a watered-down nothing of a resolution. What it does is condemn anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, racism, and other forms of bigotry. It did not name Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who really sparked all of this with what a lot of people are perceiving as anti-Semitic remarks. She was not named in it. There were some versions that did have her name in it, and then there was a fight over that, so her name was taken out, and then they put the resolution on the shelf, and they took it back off again. I mean, it's really a big deal over this. She ultimately did vote for the resolution. The final vote count was 407 to 23. All those opposed were Republicans, but that's probably because they felt like it didn't go far enough to rebuke Omar for her comments. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell criticized the process. He said that apparently within the Speaker's new far-left Democratic Party, even a symbolic resolution condemning anti-Semitism seems to be a bridge too far. So she had her supporters, Omar did, including Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, were all sticking by Omar, among others. And so I think that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is in a much way dealing with some of the same kind of problems that former House Speaker John Boehner dealt with when the Tea Party rose up, and it was like herding goats. He couldn't get everyone on the same page. And the Democratic Party really going through a lot of the same kind of changes. It's almost like the progressive bloc is a mirror image to the Tea Party, taking the party farther and farther over to the extreme.
Indeed, I was just going to ask you, it looks like Nancy Pelosi's having growing pains that you just talked about with John Boehner, Speaker Ryan. But Nancy Pelosi's pretty shrewd. Of course, it doesn't help that we've got this presidential race, and some of the folks you mentioned really doesn't really matter because they're in the Senate, not the House, but they seem to be pandering to that uber-progressive wing, and, of course, balancing all those new members.
That's right. Yeah, you've got this new progressive wing, and there has been some talk. AOC even talked about wanting to have a group very similar to the Tea Party formed. There's already kind of a progressive caucus in the House, but she wanted a more specific group to be able to lobby together for progressive causes. And it really leaves folks far away from Washington feeling politically homeless because you have the left going farther to the left, and if you're not somebody who's fully on board with President Trump, really the options at this stage in the game are pretty limited for 2020, unless perhaps Vice President Joe Biden were to get in. It's unclear, though, with this reformulation of the Democratic Party, how well he would fit in.
Rachel, you're always on top of it. Hopefully you'll get some time off, but somebody like you, it's tough to, quote-unquote, unplug.
Yeah, it can be. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you. Rachel Sutherland joining us. We continue on promoting our school, securing our future. Vision Charter School, our school today. Kevin Miller in the morning. More coming up from our great friends there. But first, let's go to Max in Garden City. Max, good morning. Thanks for your patience. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Good morning. On the lighter side, I have a suggestion about that cat and dog license plate issue.
Okay.
Why doesn't the state of Idaho go to a one-plate state like Florida? Then you have an industry. People are hired kicking out custom license plates. You can have a photo of your little fluffy kitty or your woofy dog, whatever you want, and you can have your own custom front plate. Why don't we go to a one-plate state? It would also save the state money.
Well, that sounds like a good solution. I don't know if we would ever come up with that. And look, it's nice that the Humane Society gets the money. I'd like to see a bit split to that person, that individual's favorite organization. Maybe it's Meridian Canine Rescue. Maybe it's West Valley Humane Shelter. Maybe it's all cats.
You don't need government to do that, Kevin. Example.
I think Pandora's out of the box.
the Humane Society can sponsor their own version of a license plate.
Right.
Your animal shelters can say, hey, let's get with a local manufacturer and have a bunch of license plates saying, I'm an animal rights activist or PETA or whatever you want. The benefits of a single plate go far beyond saying, I support cats and dogs.
Okay.
And it would save the state money, and it would give these charities a lot more room to reach out for more money. They're already reaching. They're already showing little animals crying on TV. How about some really cool license plates? Go to a one-plate state, Idaho. You don't need it on the front and the back both. Now, today's technology.
Yeah.
That's all. I wanted something light, nothing heavy like, I don't know, like bigots in the Congress. I don't want to get into that.
Let's just keep it light today on the school day. I appreciate that, Max.
But go with the license plates, buddy. That's the way to go.
License plates from our great friend Max. Thank you.
All
right. A light in the loafers day. Kevin Miller in the morning. Phone number is here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. By the way, those people that are talking about global warming, and we can debate that all we want, it's snowing in Washington State. Okay, can we pot up the sound, please? Maybe I didn't do it right.
If it's raining, if there are dangers of branches coming down, things like that, you just always want to err on the side of caution while still keeping the project moving forward.
You know, I don't know. If you ever want to have any fun with folks that are really into global warming, and I still think it's debatable whether or not global warming really exists. I know you're going, Kevin, educated folks say it is. Well, okay. But you can just have a little fun with them and go, well, it's snowing in Washington State. Of course, no fun when you lose power. Coming up next, we're going to check in with our great friend Todd Christensen of CapEd Credit Union, get his thoughts on some really cool things. And this new generation, you wonder how in the world you can reach these folks? Todd Christensen's going to tell you how. That's next from CapEd. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Rolling right along, let's go to our great friend Todd Christensen, joining us from CapEd Credit Union, promoting our schools, securing our future. Vision Charter is our school of the day. Todd, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kevin. How are you this morning?
You know, I was telling folks about my heating system, and it went on the fritz in December, and I had my system done by our friends at Diamond Heating and Cooling, and they have a program with you guys that if you're improving your heating and cooling, that's CapEd, you get some really great deals on the interest rates and a home improvement loan or whatever you want to call it. And I just signed the papers yesterday at McMillan and Linder, so very happy about CapEd.
That. Well, that is our Energy Wise program. That's a program to be able to help make those necessary repairs around your home when they're either expected or unexpected. So it's a great opportunity to work with Diamond and be able to help serve their customers and serve our members as well.
Yeah, like I said, we're always talking about the great programs at CapEd. So we're putting you on the spot. How can we reach the young people, Todd Christensen? You have the 9th annual middle and high school blank contest.
Correct. So in this case, it's the movie trailer contest. As you mentioned, this is our 9th annual, and we've been reaching out to youth across not only in the Treasure Valley or Magic Valley, but across the entire state. So this is where middle school, and that's added this year. So the last 8 years we've had it for high schools. We're reaching down further into the creative talent within the state of Idaho. So middle schools and middle school and high school students have an opportunity to submit a 2 to 3 minute movie trailer, an original movie trailer, and then we as CapEd, together with our community partners, videographers, those that are involved in the film industry, we will review those and then identify the top 15, and then the top 5 actually will receive prize money plus an annual license, an individual annual license to Adobe Creative Cloud. And so this is just an incredible opportunity for us as a financial institution to tap into the creative talent and see what is happening at our high schools. Just some amazing talent that we see, and the resources that kids put into this. Many schools now have videography classes or film classes, and we actually funded through our Idaho CapEd Foundation about a year ago to 4 or 5 middle schools in the West Ada School District, resources for middle school students to film and present their science projects as a video. And so we said, you know what, we're seeing this take place at the middle school, and so this year we're including middle school students as well.
Yeah, it's amazing what these kids will learn and how they can speak that digital video language. Let's talk a little bit about the Get Give program. I remember when you first started this, it seems to be, what's the progress? I'm not going to lead the witness.
Well, you are leading the witness, and I'll allow to be led on that one because it is a great opportunity to share with our community. We started this about a year ago, and this is where, as we lean into and continue to support the education community that is near and dear to our heart and part of our DNA, we created the Get and Give program. And that's where individuals who come to CapEd, open up a membership, open up their high-yield checking account, meet its qualifications, they get $100 deposited into their checking account. And at account opening, they have an opportunity to select the school district, school, and program that our members want to support, and that's the give part. And the amazing thing is over the last about 11 months, our members and together with us at CapEd, when we have been able to give over $65,000 back into our local education community, and that's supporting programs whether that's dance or cheer, baseball, softball, robotics, chess club, and all of that is continuing to strengthen our local educational community.
Our great friend Todd Christensen joining us, CapEd Credit Union, promoting our schools, securing our future. How important is it to be in these schools? Todd, we love this program. We sure support, appreciate the support of CapEd. How important is it to get out and to profile these schools?
To us, it's critically important, and important in the fact that we have an incredibly strong education community. We have a lot of great options from the large school districts to the more rural school districts, from the charter schools to the private schools. Idaho has a robust education community, and Promote Our Schools, Secure Our Future really helps us identify those opportunities that our young children or youth have in our communities and the schools that they have to attend. You know, you've talked to several individuals from Vision Charter this morning. We have one of our branch managers, her children attend that school. The last couple of days, we've had great conversations around what's being offered in the education community. And so for us as CapEd, again, we've started as a teachers credit union with 13 teachers coming together to create our financial institution. To today, we invite all who want to support the education community to join with us, and that's part of our mission and our DNA, and that is promoting schools. And so we appreciate the opportunity to partner with you and KIDO to be able to really highlight what's happening in the education community.
Well, it won't be long before you have that Read to Rise program coming back. That starts April 1st, and it won't be long before we're talking balloons.
Well, hot air balloons, and point of clarification on that, we actually changed that April 1st is the deadline. We had moved it with from feedback from the education community. We moved it from a summer reading program to an in-school reading program. So we started in December, and that is taking us up to April 1st. And this program is where elementary schools here in southern Idaho can participate. We have over 40 of them reading or participating in their students' reading. And then the top 5 schools win a visit from CapEd's Read to Rise hot air balloon and our Edward the Bookworm puppet. And so it's incredible to, again, for us as a financial institution, support and engage with the elementary age students in this regard. The high school and middle school video contest is for the middle and high school. But the cool thing is we have over 300 kids reading from 40 elementary schools, and they have nearly read 160,000 minutes since the beginning of December. And again, the top 5 schools that have the most minutes read based off of their student population win and have the CapEd Read to Rise hot air balloon come to their school.
Which is awesome. We've been there for a few. Todd Christensen, anything else you want to share with us from CapEd today, sir?
We just appreciate the opportunity to be in the schools, and now that we are starting for this spring run with you guys, and to be able to be out to the other schools and an opportunity to highlight the great things that are taking place across, again, our education community here in Idaho.
Todd, great to start another season with you. Thank you, sir. You have a great day.
Likewise. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Todd Christensen, joining us. Remember, Promote Our School, Secure Our Future, brought to you by CapEd Credit Union, Team Mazda Subaru, and you. Today's school, Vision Charter School. Let's get you to work safely and on time. Coming up, more kids, more parents, more teachers, more, well, secrets. Remember, KIDO Talk Radio, your home for Promote Our School, Secure Our Future. Kevin Miller here. We've been doing this since 2011, twice a year, over 20 schools. We're back, we're rolling, and we can't wait to go to your school. If you'd like me and the crew to come out and profile your school for the week, all you have to do is email me, Kevin, at KIDO Talk Radio. That's Kevin at KIDO Talk Radio. Let's find out what's happening in your world on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie.
Good morning, Kevin.
And remember, Promote Our Schools, Secure Our Future. Coming up, we'll have more guests from Vision Charter School. Thanks to CapEd Credit Union, Team Mazda Subaru, proudly supporting our schools in the Treasure Valley for over 9 years. Thank you so much to all the parents, the teachers, the students, the administrators that make it possible, the bus drivers. We appreciate you. And again, excited to be back in action here right on KIDO Talk Radio. This week's school, Vision Charter School. Let's go to the phones. And we should be hearing from more folks from Vision in a minute. But joining us now, Congressman Russ Fulcher, live from, I believe, Washington, D.C. Good morning, sir.
Kevin, good morning. It's good to be on the Kevin Miller Show, where we have an alternative to the swamp.
Well, speaking of which, I'm glad you're in the swamp and we're here in Idaho. A big controversial vote this week concerning Representative Omar. What was it like being in the midst of that? I know a lot of people are wondering, her comments pertaining to Israel, Jerusalem, anti-Semitic. It seemed like the Democrats had trouble reining in one of their own.
They do, and they don't know what to do about it, and so they wind up doing nothing. And that's kind of what happened with that vote. What was intended to be, and I think started out to be a good thing, which is just to flat out condemn anti-Semitism and put a stamp from the United States Congress that just simply won't be tolerated. It turned into a very watered down, muddled up statement that really doesn't say anything, other than just, what I call a Barney statement, the Barney theme song, I love you, you love me, we're a happy family, and it really doesn't mean anything. So it was disappointing to see that play out the way that it did, but it also shows, I think, that our majority party in Congress right now is like you said, it's not in control, and I think vulnerable as we go about strategy in other areas in the 2020 election.
Well, Congressman Fulcher, some of the business that we heard about that you were debating this week, the idea that some of the Democrats in the House wanted to raise the federal minimum wage, and you made some sound bites that made it through social media, went viral, comparing, some of the places where the Democrats live to some of the places where we live.
Well, the primary sponsors of this, who were making all the noise in committee, were from Miami and Camden, New Jersey, and Connecticut and New York City, and so they aren't shy about making decisions or trying to set policy that makes decisions for other places. And so my simple point is look, I readily admit, I don't know what your circumstances are in Miami or New York City or Camden, New Jersey. And if you want to address a minimum wage issue there, then that's great. But don't do it at the federal level, because then you come into my state. You force your way into my state in areas where the economic system is different, in areas where the cost of living is different, an area where, frankly, we don't want you to make our decision. And it did resonate. And this is going to die, by the way. We've talked to our colleagues in the Senate, and it's not going to go anywhere. But that's the mindset in the minds of many of the more liberal leaders is, to heck with states. We know what's best. We're going to drive this one-size-fits-all wage issue. And whether you're in Bonners Ferry or Camden, New Jersey, it's all the same.
Indeed, Congressman Fulcher, the federalism continues to creep in. What do you make of the Democrats saying we want 81 subpoenas of folks that know the president?
I think once upon a time, a couple of weeks ago, Kevin, you and I had an opportunity to talk, and I shared with you that there were a couple of surprises, not a lot when I took office, but one of them is just the vitriolic attitude towards the president. The only real agenda that the majority party has in the House is an anti-Trump agenda. So the default position is against President Trump. And so that'll be, where's the president? We're on the other side. And there is a very strong movement, and I need to make sure that everybody understands it's a very strong movement to oust this president. And whether you agree with President Trump on everything or not, I believe that to be very, very dangerous, because if unelected bureaucrats, unelected appointed officials can orchestrate a scenario to oust a president, which is what's happening with these testimonials and all these hearings and all that kind of stuff, and then the 81 people, 81 points. If they can oust a president, they can oust anyone. And that's not a republic any longer. That's bureaucratic rule. And so that's what this is all about. It started off with Russian collusion. They can't find anything. They haven't found anything. They're frustrated. President Trump threatens them because he's making changes. He's shaking things up. He has threatened the system as they know it, and so that's why all these steps are being taken to frantically try to get him out.
Congressman Russ Fulcher joining us, his weekly chat here on 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio. You get any time to do like social things like hang out with all the freshmen or Jim Jordan or Mark Meadows or fellow conservatives like yourself?
No. I wish I did, actually. We do, but it's strictly in either a committee setting or on the floor, and that's just simply because the pace that we're keeping and the activity. Much of where we focus our time is on constituent-related things that are based out of Idaho, and we're trying to help Idahoans navigate some of the federal bureaucracies, struggles that they have in their personal or business life. So there really hasn't been much time to do that. But that said, it's somewhat easy, Kevin, to identify who your allies are and who they aren't, who you can trust and who you can't, who's really the decision maker, the influencer, and who's not. And so we've taken ample time to try to work our way through that landscape.
Congressman Fulcher, finally, there have been no reports of this, but, let's get ahead of the curve. Obviously, you're very concerned about the future of Gowan Field and Mountain Home Air Force Base. Now you've got the mantle to protect those.
Well, and that's a huge part of our economic engine, and it's a rightful role of the federal government to fund those facilities. And by the way, the economies of scale and the location geographically of Idaho to have those facilities is very, very good. Idaho plays very favorably on any comparison, and so to the extent we can try to encourage that, that's exactly what we're going to do.
All right, we have a question from Jim in Middleton for Congressman Fulcher. Then we're going to Liberty Linda. Then we're going to our friends at Vision Charter School. Jim, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio with Congressman Fulcher.
Thank you, Kevin. Good morning to you. Good morning, Congressman. Congressman Fulcher, you just made a comment there that there's a corrupt bureaucracy that's trying to oust an elected official. My question is what are Republicans, even Democrats and what have you, what are our politicians doing to investigate that and to right that wrong?
Well, I think the point is that the Republican conference here doesn't see the same need to go out and investigate this president. We all knew when we elected him that he wasn't a choir boy, but we didn't elect a choir boy. The charge initially was that there was some kind of collusion with Russia, and it's just simply not panned out. And if there is
I
something
understand that. I'm asking. We all know that this is a hoax, and there are corrupt people trying to oust him illegally. So what are we doing to investigate those corrupt people? Forget about Trump for a minute. It could be anyone. Why isn't there an investigation going on with that?
No. I think the reason why is because the Democrats have the majority, and the president is at the mercy of the House. I mean, if we had the majority, Congressman Fulcher, wouldn't we be investigating these folks? And we tried for 2 years.
The procedure and the way that it works is you can't subpoena, you can't have the hearings, you can't set the agenda when you are in the minority. Now, there might be an opportunity to do that on the Senate side, and that's probably something worth investigating, but it's purely majority rules at this point, and so there's not the ability to do that without being able to set the agenda.
Jim, I got to run, but thank you. Hope that answered your question.
Thanks for taking the call. Thank you both. Bye.
Congressman Fulcher, we appreciate you. Anything else you'd like to say to the folks?
We appreciate our good state in Idaho, Kevin, and appreciate you giving us an opportunity to share maybe a little bit of insight what's happening here. And there are some positive things too. And on the next time we talk, we'll try to hit some of those as well.
We always appreciate you, sir. Thank you, Congressman Fulcher.
Thank you, Kevin. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Our great friend, Congressman Fulcher, joining us today. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Coming up next, we're going to go back to Vision Charter School, promoting our school, securing our future. But first, best-selling author Liberty Linda. Good morning.
Thank you, Kevin. Good morning. You know, thank goodness we have wonderful congressmen like Russ Fulcher in Washington representing us. You know, it gives us hope is what it gives us. And thank you for having him on your show, too. It's always refreshing to hear from him and knowing that we do have congressmen like that, because most of the time we hear all the negative. You know, like what's going on now in Washington, anti-Semitism, anti-white, Kevin, in our government. You know, sometimes we listen to the news and our mouths are hanging open. We can't believe what's going on there.
I agree.
So I think, thank goodness we have a common sense president, President Trump. And anyway, Kevin, you know, a lot of times I'll call in and talk about the negative that's going on in our schools. And I just want to thank you today for going into our schools and showing us all our wonderful children there, how intelligent they are, some of their wonderful goals that they set for themselves. You know, that gives us hope also. And so, you know, I just love the days that you go into our schools and show us all the good that we have there. I really wanted to call in and thank you for doing that, to reminding us of the wonderful children we have in this nation.
Oh, we love our schools, we love our teachers, and love the parents, and we're just trying to make our Treasure Valley the best it can be, Liberty Linda.
We're trying to make sense of everything that's going on in our world. And so I appreciate you doing that. And thank you again, Kevin, for all that you do. We just love you and all the work. You know, that's why we tune in every morning. You know, we can talk about the problems, but let's talk about the good as well. And so anyway, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you, Kevin Miller. That's what I'd like to say.
Well, thank you, Liberty Linda. God bless.
You as well, Kevin. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Let's go back to Vision Charter School, promoting our school, securing our future. Deborah Ellis joining us. She teaches K-5 general music. Mrs. Ellis, thank you for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Good to have you with us here on KIDO Talk Radio. So, do kids still get music these days?
They do at Vision Charter School. A lot of schools in Idaho actually do still have general music. But Vision Charter School works really hard to make sure that they get quite a lot of it. So,
well, when we talk about that, it's important. Music is so important. But what do you say to the cynics, maybe even people like Kevin Miller, go, oh, music, how can you really learn? It should all be about math and science and a little dash of history. Why is music so important?
well, music is a link to all of those things. By learning music, you become better at being able to learn and do the other things. And it shows up in the test scores, which everybody likes to look at. But you also, if you just look at people who succeed well in life in many different areas, a lot of them have some kind of music in their background. That they are doing. They have done something with music. They're good at music. There is a lot of really exciting research going on right now with brain scanning and everything that actually shows how much more of the brain we use when we are actively participating in music, and how it opens up things for you and helps you understand all other areas better. It just makes you a better thinker.
Well, we need better thinkers now more than ever. Why did you get an education? What motivated you?
I was very passionate about music always growing up, and was one of those people who kind of thought going into college, quite honestly, that education would be kind of the quote-unquote fallback position. But as I started studying education, I became more and more passionate about it, and I just absolutely love working with kids and teaching them and watching them grow and seeing the things that happen to them. So this is my chosen way of life here.
Sure. We talk about the good days and the bad days. What are your best days like compared to your more challenging days?
Well, my best days are the days that just flow from one class right to the other, where the kids are engaged and learning and having a great time. And even the most challenging days, that is still going on. So I have very good days. There's really not a day that I would consider bad in this job of music teaching.
Indeed. What about the children, and why Vision Charter?
Well, Vision Charter was one that came up at a time just in my personal life that fit my needs for a profession. I was looking to go to work part-time at that time because I was raising a young family of my own, and Vision Charter was much smaller at that point and only needed a part-time music teacher. And as the school grew and my own kids grew and I was able to go full-time, we went here. I completely buy into the vision that Vision Charter School has for their students, and our students are, in my opinion, the best around.
Well, we're going to hear from your students in a minute. We really appreciate you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. And promoting our school, securing our future. Kevin Miller in the morning. Let's go back to Vision Charter School. Bobby's joining us now. Bobby, good to have you with us.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
I know. It seems kind of discombobulated, but you are on the radio, it's for sure. So tell us a little bit about your stay at Vision and your goals, sir.
Well, I've been here since kindergarten, and it's great here, and yeah, I want to be in music after high school.
Really? What about your other classes there? And do you? Okay, here's the tough one, Bobby. Do you like going to school?
I do. There are some days that are kind of hard, but there are others that it's great just learning new things.
Right. Well, what would be an example of learning new things?
Well, this year I'm in a chemistry class, and it's fun learning about different solutions and there's also U.S. history, and I like learning about our nation's history.
Sure, Bobby. I'm going to ask you to hang on. We're going to get to you and Chandra and everybody else. I want to learn why you like chemistry. Maybe there's hope for all of us. But first, you're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Good morning, Dave.